Ambassador, Mrs Madhu Sajjanhar, honored guests, dear members, welcome to this May lunch. My name is Suranjana Ghosh and I'm the Vice President of International Women's Club. Our dear President Kanti Beck is not here today. She had to rush suddenly home to Sri Lanka, but she will be back for AGM next week. Dear Ambassador and Mrs Sajjanhar, thank you very much for inviting us to the India House. And it is most kind of you. Thank you. We are here not only to enjoy a wonderful program and a delicious food, but we are here also to help the needy in India. This time our attention goes to the literary program, Education with a Purpose. Its objective is to empower underprivileged children, adolescents and the women in low-income group. This trust has since 1996 helped more than 23,000 beneficiaries. And we in our small way can contribute to this program today. In the other room, like you have seen, I'm very happy to see that you have circulated so very well, and I think the fantastic lucky dip is nearly gone. So that is absolutely fantastic, and thank you for all the people giving presents and wrapping and what have you. So that is really something new we've done, and that is so much fun. Before we see a film about India and the word from the ambassador and other programs, I would like to remind you members about the annual general meeting, which takes place next week, 15th at 2 o'clock at the Army Museum. So your attendance is very important, and please bring the bulletin with you. And as a thank, I would like to give some flowers to Mrs Sajjanhar. And thank you so much for inviting us here today. Okay. Christine says that we have already a list in here at the back here where you can sign up for the AGM. So please do so and come to the AGM next week. Let's have a wonderful time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your gracious words.
Thank you.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of His Excellency Mr. Ashok Sajjanhar, Ambassador of India to Sweden and Latvia, and on behalf of Mrs Madhu Sajjanhar, I would like to warmly welcome you to India House today. I would like to shortly introduce you to a program that we're going to have here today. We'll have some brief talks, talk by Ambassador of India on India of today and its potentials for the future. We'll have a talk by Mrs Madhu Sajjanhar about one particular part of India called Orissa. Our cultural program will consist of short Indian classical music concert and Indian classical dance by Ms Sunita Singh. I would like to emphasize that all funds collected today will go to a charitable cause. It will go to support one NGO in India providing education to poorer segments of the society, and it's titled Literacy India. We have some information leaflets in the corridor. Therefore today we'll have a silent auction, and as you know we have a lucky dip and a stall with a really nice stall with Indian art items. That all the funds collected, as I mentioned, would go to the Literacy India NGO. And now I would like to invite you to enjoy a short film that is titled "The Spirit of India."
ni za ni za re za re ma re ni za re ma pa ma re za re ma pa ma re za re ma pa ni 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 za.
Dear ladies and a few gentlemen, let me say what a great pleasure and what a great delight it is for me and for us to welcome all of you to our home. I am particularly happy to welcome you because in my very long diplomatic career, I have had the opportunity and fortune and possibilities of speaking to and addressing kings and prime ministers and presidents, but never before have I had this singular honor of speaking to such a large number of wonderful ladies. Thank you. I feel truly honored and I feel truly privileged to be able to speak to you. And the privilege and the pleasure is even more when I see such a large number of friendly faces, such a large number of known faces, and such warmth as I can see emanating from the other side. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for making this event to be what it is becoming at the moment. Friends, I must confess that I owe this honor and privilege to two presidents. Not the President of India, not the President of the United States. But equally important, one, the President of the Diplomatic Women's Club, whom I am privileged to have as my wife. And the other, the President of the International Women's Club, who is also a dear friend, Anti Beck. Unfortunately, she's not here with us today because of a personal emergency. But both of them asked me to speak, and I was of course delighted, and they gave me a very simple task. And the simple task was to chart the 10,000-year-old history of India and the next 100 years of India's future growth and prospects in 5 minutes. But I know what an erudite audience I have, what a well-informed audience I have. So I'm very confident of being able to accomplish that. So let me say, let me begin by saying, as I mentioned, that India is an old nation. It's an ancient nation. It's an ancient civilization with a very ancient heritage. We've had, of course, people coming in from all over the world. People have come in as seekers of truth, seekers of enlightenment, seekers. They have come as travelers, they have come as traders, some of them have even come as invaders. But all of them who have come, they have stayed back, and India has adopted them. There are layers and layers of different experiences, customs, cultures, traditions that India has had. And I think that is what, over the last 10,000 years, our experience, that is what makes India of today. When we talk about the tolerance in India today, it is as a result that we have had so many different influences over this very long period of time. We see that in India we have the second largest population of Muslims. We don't have any terrorists, international terrorists anywhere in the world. You find much smaller countries. The level of tolerance, the level of not only tolerance of each other's differences or religions, but a tendency to celebrate the differences, to rejoice in the differences. I think that is what India of today has become. I think in my 5 minutes that I have, or rather 4 minutes now, I will maybe identify certain basic features and characteristics of India today, and then maybe say a couple of words on what we look forward to as we go ahead. And of course, during the course of the day and during the course of the afternoon, if there are any questions, I would be very happy to, or any comments or any discussion, I would be very happy to engage in that. So what are the defining characters? One is India as a democracy. I think it is an oft repeated cliche that India is a democracy, but if you really look at it, it's 1.2 billion people. It has been having elections, the last elections in 2009, more than 750 million people, out of which the participation in the elections was more than 65%, which even in many developed countries and advanced countries, you don't get such large segments of population who are willing. The elections are free, they are fair, they are transparent, they are really very hard fought. And you get the results on the next day after the elections are over. And no one challenges the results because they are free and fair, they are perceived to be free and fair. And at every election there has been a change of government, except at the last one. So one, I think, aspect that we need to keep in mind is the very democratic foundations of India. And there, if you see, when India got independence in 1947, and that was the time when a large number of other countries also, that was the anti-colonialism wave. Many countries got independence, even in our own neighborhood. But all those countries slowly and gradually went into military dictatorships or into authoritarian rule, except India. And it has continued to be a democracy. The second feature that I would like to emphasize is India's diversity, which I have mentioned briefly, that is as a result of our cultural experience of people who have come. For instance, India is the birthplace of 4 major religions of the world. 4 other religions have come to India and have been adopted and have flourished and blossomed and prospered. For instance, I think it might be known to some, but maybe not known to others, that Christianity came to India in 52 AD. That's a good 1,000 years before it came to Sweden. And since that time, it has been welcomed and received, and it has continued to prosper. Just to give you an example, in India, here in Sweden, we also talk about gender equality. In India, we have our president is a woman. The vice president is a Muslim. The prime minister, who's the chief executive of the government, is from the minority. He's a Sikh. The leader of the ruling alliance, which is an alliance of a number of parties, she's a Catholic Christian. The leader of the, and this has all come very spontaneously, this all comes very naturally. No one tries to sort of put all these things together. So India is a country which is a reflection of a universe, and this diversity merges, and truly I think for that reason it is said that India is not a nation, it is a civilization.
Yeah.
And truly I think the experience is that of a civilization. The third aspect maybe I could very quickly mention is the demographics of India today. And by that I mean that India, it's an old nation, I say. It's an old civilization, but it's a very young nation. And why is it a young nation? Because the average age of people in India is 24 years. More than half the population of India is less than 25 years. And these are the people who are going to be educated, who are going to get good health care, and they are going to become productive members of the Indian economy and of the international economy. Some years ago, India was regarded, increasing population was regarded as a big liability, as a big drawback on India's growth prospects. But today, we look upon in India that these are young people who are educated, who are motivated, who are hardworking. They will produce more, they will work more, they will save more, they will invest more, and productivity is going to increase the economy. So I think a few years ago, I remember, and even until the time I recall when I came here to Sweden about a year and a half ago, I think we used to look upon India as a land of malnutrition or disease or disasters. But today India is looked upon as a country of hope and potential, not only for itself, but also for the world in general, in terms of peace, in terms of prosperity, in terms of security. Now I have half a minute on which I will devote to India-Sweden ties, and I'm very happy to tell you that they are expanding, they are blossoming, they are growing at a very rapid pace. We have had, I think that is reflected in our bilateral political interactions in terms of exchange of visits. It is reflected in terms of our economic interactions. For instance, the sort of investment, the volume of investment from India here and vice versa that we have seen over the last 1 year, we have not seen over the last 15 years. So I think both countries are looking at each other very seriously, and they want to make a very good chart a very big future. And of course both countries are eminently placed to do that, because both India and Sweden are growing at a very robust pace, at a very significant pace. Before I end, let me read out two quotations, or rather three quotations, from some of the major thinkers, what they have said about India. So the first quotation that I would like to read out is from the well-known French scholar Romain Rolland, and he said, "If there is one place on the face of the earth where all the dreams of living men have found a home from the very earliest days when man began the dream of existence, it is India." This is Romain Rolland. The second, from across the Atlantic, Mark Twain, the famous writer from America. He said, "India is the cradle of the human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. Our most valuable and most artistic materials in the history of man are treasured up only in India." And the final one by Max Muller, the German scholar, and he says, "If I were asked under what sky the human mind has most fully developed some of its choicest gifts, has most deeply pondered on the greatest problems of life, and has found solutions, I should point to India." So friends, thank you and welcome to India.
would now like to present three musicians who would now present two melodies for us. One is Indian classical and one of Rabindranath Tagore's song.
Keep watching it.
Yes, it should be good.
India, you know about Rajasthan, but very few people know about Orissa. And Orissa is so rich in culture, in architecture, in archaeological buildings, and dance, arts, handicrafts, everything. And of course the people, the festivals, traditions. As the ambassador said, that India is a melting pot of various religions, various cultures, so too is visible in Orissa. If we say Orissa has a very rich natural vegetation, it has lush forests, it has lakes, rivers, and it has a coastline, plains, everything. So as a result, it has very rich flora and fauna, medicinal plants. It has a large, about 1/4 of its population is tribal, and 62 strong tribal groups are there. And today they are, in various stages of assimilation into the mainstream, but they still maintain their cultures and all the development, etc., which takes place. We always keep them in mind, and all industry which is set up has to look at the environment, the green aspect, and also the people, the indigenous people of Orissa, which are the tribals. Now, it is a very rich, mineral-rich state, and it has 1/3 of the country's bauxite deposits, iron ore, 1/4 of the iron ore, 1/5 of its coal, and as a result you have the industries coming up. You have the oldest steel plant, Burkela steel plant over there, which was made with Russian help, and now a very big steel plant is being set up with Korean. They're investing in India. So this is sort of the modern aspect of India. But let us go to the culture and the history of this state. Architecturally, Orissa is full of treasures dating from prehistoric times up to the end of the Muslim rule, which is in the middle of the 16th century. You have the caves of places, Kandhagiri and Udaygiri, and they represent, you have the cave architecture of the state. These caves were built to accommodate the Jain ascetics, that is one religion or offshoot of Hinduism. Then it went on to Buddhism. Buddhism gave a lot of inspiration to the architecture. Ashoka the Great, who was the person who really was the king, who was at first a very cruel warrior, killing, conquering and taking land all over. But then, seeing all the bloodshed, he turned to Buddhism. He gave up everything and he adopted Buddhism, and he spread the word of Lord Buddha to the southeast, up to Bali, Cambodia, and down to Sri Lanka. And evidence of this is present all over Odisha. His edicts, his monasteries, his stupas, everything is there. But the most sort of, the pinnacle of architecture in Orissa came with temples, which came around the 11th, 12th, 13th century. They represent what is called the Kalinga art. And examples of these I will give. One is a very huge temple, which is the Jagannath temple, which is the Lord of the world. Jagannath means Lord of the world. And that was built in about, I think, 13th century, and it is a working temple till today. And the best part, the most interesting part of this is they have in the monsoon season at that time, they have the Rath Yatra, which is a chariot, a huge chariot in which Lord Jagannath, his sister and his brother are taken from the Jagannath temple to another temple a few kilometers away. And what is interesting is that thousands of people pull the chariot. It is not with a motor or anything, it is pulled from this, one point to the other. And it is a very, very big festival of Puri. Then you have, it's a World Heritage site, which is the Sun Temple at Konark. It is a temple made in the form of a chariot. It has 7 horses representing the 7 days of the week, and it has 24 wheels representing the 24 hours of the day. And it was made in the 12th century as if the chariot to take the sun god across the sky from, day to night that day. It is a World Heritage Site, and the sculpture and the fine work which is done in these temples and is really exquisite. And in fact the Konark temple complex is in fact the open book for much of the dance forms, which your classical dancers use. You can see their positions, their bhangas, everything in these temples. Then besides the sculpture, you have of course the nature tourism. We have, since it's full of hills and forests and lakes, we have these parks. We have the biggest white tiger reserve over there, and then we Nandan Kanan. Then we have the Project Tiger Reserve, another one there. And besides that, you have a botanical garden, which is world famous, with all the world famous species, a cacti museum, which is again world famous. And then along the coast, there is this place where you have, this would be of interest, you have lakhs of olive ridley turtles come to nest there every year. It is really a paradise for nature lovers at that point of time. They come every year. Then we have the biggest brackish water lake of Asia there, the Chilka Lake. It is a paradise again for birds, and you even see dolphins in India in this place. So, these are just 2 examples, but there are others. So, nature tourism, safaris, you can have in plenty. Handicrafts are not far behind. An example of the handlooms is visible in that room, and maybe the sari also, which I am wearing, is from the same state. This is, if you know, from Indonesia, ikat work. If you're familiar with that, this is from Orissa, and this is really a tie and dye. They do a tie and dye dyeing of the thread, and this thread is then woven into the pattern. So it is a very old art and an exquisite art, handloom industry of Orissa. Besides that, you have of course stone and wood carving, silver filigree work, applique work. Examples of these you have seen in that room. Those long things hanging, that is applique work over there. You have the patta painting, which is on the leaf. They do very fine painting. There are some pieces there with, with a fine brush. It is done. And they often have sort of a folded patta painting. It comes into one strip. And when you open it, you have the deities or some scene from the Ramayana or Krishna, Radha, etc. Then you have the brass work, lokra work, You have the terracotta, lacquer craft, and the golden grass craft, that's the baskets woven from them. So everything, they are very rich. And in all this is evident the old history and the tradition. As we said, as the master said, that there are layers and layers and layers in the culture of India, and so too in Orissa. So over the years, things have developed. Some have come from other countries, but much is using the indigenous material, what is available, and they are giving an expression to their creativity, their art. Coming to their dances and the music. Very famous dance, classical dance, is Odissi. And you will again see an example of it just now, after I finish. It has its also origins in the temples. And it was danced by the Devadasis, that is the servants of the gods. These women who used to dance, and it was a form of prayer, a ritual. Yes. And earlier it was just pure dance as a prayer to God, but later on it came out of the temples. And then the main theme of these is Radha, the love of Radha and Krishna. Krishna is a reincarnation of Vishnu, the creator, who's the preserver of the world. And that is Jagannath is also Vishnu. So it is all the same. So Krishna, Radha, their love was written in song in Geet Govind, and that is the Bible of Odissi. Well, this gives you a brief picture of the state. We are talking about literacy. This charity, today morning is dedicated to Literacy India. Let me give you some figures for Orissa. The percentage of literacy in Orissa is 63%. And for the males it is 75, 76%, and for women, among women it is 50%. And the all India level of literacy is 65%. So this has taken a jump in the last few years, and a lot of work is being done on literacy, educating people. Many NGOs are there, and government has really set up a blueprint to increase the literacy. And as we all know, education is the core of a better and happier life in the future. Yes. So I hope I've given you a brief picture of Orissa. It's natural, of which there are plenty. Tourism, enjoyment, parks, etc. There is archaeology. There is the current festivals which commemorate the past. And in fact, there is one festival which also commemorates the connection of Orissa with Bali, Indonesia. Because like Ashoka had sent, King Ashoka had sent the people from Orissa to all over Cambodia, Bali, etc. to spread the word. So I hope you all plan a trip to Orissa and enjoy the sand, beautiful beaches, golden sands, and the history of the state. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite Ms. Sunita Singh, who will perform an Odissi dance titled Moksha. And Moksha is the concluding item of a recital, and it means the spiritual libertation. This dance represents spiritual culmination for the dancer who soars into the realm of pure aesthetic delight. With the cosmic sound of Om, the dancer dissolves into nothingness, just like moksha or the deliverance of the soul in the real life. So let us welcome Ms. Sunita Singh.
Where all the classical dances take place, and it is really a place which is visited, especially for, they visit the Sun Temple at that particular time, because it is really a stupendous thing to see all the classical dancers with the backdrop of the Sun Temple. I think earlier, if you had noticed, they were showing you the huge wheel and all the temples.
When was it, my lady, about which time of the year?
The dance festival?
The festival.
I think it is in summer. July, yes.
But if you are interested in festivals, let me tell you that there are many festivals in India. Today, of course, the focus is Orissa, so we are focusing. But you have other beautiful, delightful temples known as the Khajuraho temples. And they are also very ancient and extremely exquisite in terms of the architecture and the sculptures that are there. And every year you have the Khajuraho dance festivals. And the best artists in terms of not only dance but also music and other forms, they come there. So please visit, and most of them take place during the summer, late summer, which is the monsoon time, monsoon season, because that is the days are long and it's very nice and very pleasant. Khajuraho is in March? Okay, maybe starting at that time. That must be starting the season of festivals. And that would be at that time. Yes. And of course, Delhi has many festivals also. So yeah, well. Good. I think that brings us really to the end of the official part of the program, and I give the floor to the Vice President of the International Women's Club. After all, at this event, a lady must have the last word. How can I have the last word? No? You have the last word, madam. And thank you very much. Welcome. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Wonderful programs. It's absolutely super. And hear about Orissa. I never heard, but now I might visit. But in any case, I would like to point out about the silent auction, which is in that corner over there. So if you haven't had already a possibility to look at it, please look. And there's, I think, still some items to sell. So hopefully we can sell absolutely everything we have, and then if there's anything left on the lucky dip, I don't think not much, but might be some there. And then I think we are ready for Are we ready for lunch?
Yeah. You're most welcome now, I think. And as you enjoy the Indian meal, please, as she said, loiter on to the salad auction and make
So about 2 o'clock, 2:15, we have a look at the silent auction, the results.